Hey everyone, and welcome to the video. So today's video, I wanted to do something kind of nostalgic for myself, which is The Sims 1. Of all the PC games that I can think of, this is one I could probably give the most credit to getting me started. There were a few that I played before, but none of them did I play nearly as much as I did The Sims 1. I played, Sim Theme Park, and then Sim City 3000, which is the reason that I got this game. Because at that time, that was before I'd gotten internet at my house. I just recently got my first PC, and I think it was an insert that was in the Sim City 3000, like the jewel case, that had like on the back of it had a ad for the like coming soon for the Sims 1, and then I think there was a trailer for the game that was on there too. The one that was like that original one. They even had like the old plumb bob style and everything, the more boxy looking one. And I watched that trailer over and over and over again, just because the idea of this game was just mind blowing to me. It was awesome. Because like I said, I played the SimCity 3000 a bit, but it never hooked me quite like I thought it would. I guess it was more management of talking to the different people from the city council and the managing the money and the infrastructure and stuff. And as a kid, that part of it wasn't as interesting. I was more into the natural disasters and stuff. So I'd start one of the base cities and just destroy them. That was most of the gameplay I got. But The Sims 1 was a little bit different. Um, Still to this day, I still have memories of playing with the newbie household and just going through and clicking on everything, just being amazed by what you could do. Let's go over here. Let's take a shower. Oh my! Still getting reacquainted to The Sims Unleashed and all the animals constantly trying to beg, and the raccoons at night with the scary burglar sound that pops up, and it's just a raccoon walking in to usually knock your trash can over. Oh, poor pup. I might go out there and talk to you just to get my Sims social need up a little bit. But yeah, I couldn't wait for this game to come out. And my computer, luckily, which actually looked a lot like that one right there. My computer luckily played the game really well, at least until the expansion packs came out. I remember Vacation. Vacation was the first test of it, where it was fine as long as I was at the house. But as soon as I went to one of the resorts or anywhere there was, the bigger groups of Sims and I guess just the community lots in general, the game would bog down quite a bit. Still playable, but I could definitely feel the difference. So I usually stayed either on the home lot or I worked on just building the vacation lots. I'd go there and make my own hotels and stuff. But I think as a kid, I was like 11 when this game came out. I think it was the biggest thing is it was cool to build the house and then watch and see how the Sims interacted with it. I don't know if anybody else enjoyed that part of it back then, but that was like the cool new thing. I was like, I could make this house any way I want. I put the chairs here, make this the living room, make this the dining room, and the Sims would figure it out and would interact with it based on how I designed it. I always thought that was really cool, and it definitely was difficult. I definitely used cheat codes. My main one that I used back then was the move objects on, just so because that allowed you to delete your sim, and then I forgot they would come back, and all their needs would be replaced. They'd all be green, full maxed out. So I used that quite a bit back then. But playing it now, the game is not nearly as difficult as I remember it. It's still tough, still the most difficult of the Sims games, but there's ways to make it a little bit easier that I didn't know about back then, such as making your sim a little bit more shy so their social need doesn't go down as fast. those type things. I remember back then I was like, oh man, it'll make it easier if I just make them really outgoing, and then they'll get along with people really well. But starting out with like one sim, the social need just drained so fast, so it ended up making it harder. The careers and stuff, the career progression and the money you make is still plenty difficult, just because you don't make a ton of money. But if you use the things like the maid and other little, like the gardener stuff I've used, it make the game a lot easier. Just saves time on some of those things. So let's see, we're gonna get the fun up. Use this old school amazing computer. So that the speakers on the side just like mine. Used to love those style monitor mounted speakers like that. But this was always one of the houses that I always started with, this one, with this little patio area. So I thought I would. Who lets you in? Spike. It's breaking and entering, sir. These newspapers and whatever these pamphlet things, they get annoying. Thankfully, they're one of the reasons I have them made, just so she comes. Oh gosh, get out of the road, Cher. Just love there's just animals everywhere in this game. Though it does get a little. Oh, there's another one. Is that they pee everywhere on like the very edge of the screen or map, whatever you want to call it. Your Sim's yard, and that drives the room score way down. And you spend your whole time trying to mop those up. But every time like with Sim goes to work and you're trying to get them a raise, wherever, the last thing that happens, on their way to getting in the carpool, is being kind of upset because their outside is dirty. I mean, there's not much you can do about it. So that part gets annoying. And probably the addition of the roaches and stuff. I totally forgot about that. I don't know what expansion pack brought that on. Because mainly when I had this game, I had the base version, and then for whatever reason, I never got Living Large. Always wanted that expansion pack, but for some reason, I never got it. But I got House Party and Vacation and Unleashed. All those. Didn't get Superstar and Making Magic and stuff. By that point, I didn't get Hot Date either. I didn't get Hot Date because being like 11 and 12, my mom would just... She saw that on the cover and she asked no questions. She's like, no, you don't need that. And I didn't have the skills back then to explain why it wasn't that bad. But yeah, I never played the later packs because by that point I'd kind of moved on. I went to playing games on PlayStation. I remember I did play the Sims 1 console version on PlayStation. And being kind of disappointed with that game. It looked really nice, but the gameplay, after coming from the actual game on PC, was a bit disappointing and limited. So I did want to speak about these re-releases. So the Legacy Collection, I'll do a separate video about The Sims 2. So far with both games, I played them quite a bit. I put in a few hours with both games before I started making any videos to talk about them. The Sims 2, I had one crash in several hours of playing it. So not bad. You'd hope for no crashes, but one crash, I'll take it. I put in some custom content. It worked just fine, just like it did with the original version. Performance-wise, works fantastic. I had a weird thing with it. I think it had to do with my capture card and using extended screens at first. It caused a weird glitch where the game was supposed to be limited to 60 frames, but for whatever reason, it was playing at 144 hertz, FPS, 144 FPS, and it was just, you can tell the game was just not meant for that. It was fine in normal gameplay. The animations and stuff were fine, but whenever, like in Sims 2, you can right click on the sim and the camera will follow them around, and the camera would just go crazy. It would judder really fast. Now I changed the settings back to default from my capture card, and now that game plays at the 60 FPS that it's supposed to, and that issue's gone now. It's smooth with the camera. So that was the only thing I really ran into, other than that one little crash. But like the shadow issue, where the shadows didn't work and you had to turn them off, or they were like black blocks around their feet, that's been fixed. I haven't had any real graphical errors. For me, luckily for both games, the UI has been perfectly sized for my 1440p screen. No issues there. So for me, these have been better than the versions that I played before on this computer. So I can't really complain about performance or glitchiness or anything like that. It's been completely fine. So overall, been very pleased. It's basically what I've wanted. It's The Sims 1 and The Sims 2, because I know some people wanted, like especially with The Sims 2, they wanted them remastered or not remade. I guess some people did, but a lot of people were asking for like remasters for EA to go back and. But I'm glad that they're more just bug fixes and then re-release them, because the games were great as they were, and I don't trust really, I guess, modern EA not to mess up these classic games by going in and meddling with them. So I'm fine with them just being re-releases, but it is good. I've heard that they are gonna, I guess, keep working on the patches. Let's see. So got promoted. Nice. That's been a long time coming. It's a lot slower after you played the other games, which I've been playing some recently. The promotions in this game come a lot slower. Lucky's able to leave it today. The other day, there was one of the animals was sitting in front of that car, and he was just honking at the car at the dog, wherever it was, forever. I always remember that from the vacation one as well. The little SUV that carries you there will sometimes just sit there and honk at animals and other things that are in the way just forever. So you have to just sit there and listen to a car horn. All right, let's go ahead and pay this Rick $179. Phew. But yeah, I've always found the art style of The Sims 1 and Sims 2 to be pretty timeless. So I haven't really seen a need to mess with them too much. And as far as, picture quality of them at the resolutions, they look really good. Not bad jaggies or anything. They're pretty crisp, edges and picture on them. So I can't complain about any of that. So to me, they look good and they perform great. But I know a lot of people are having issues. It would be interesting to see if it's, more prevalent on a certain platform that it's sold on, or laptops versus desktops, and what type of GPUs and the age of them and stuff that's having the most issues, because it seems to be just across the board. You either have people who have no issues or people who can't even get the games to load up. So that's never good. But overall, the gameplay is intact. Widescreen, thank goodness, for The Sims 1 without having to do any changes to the game or downloading anything. Because I love modding The Sims and stuff, but any bit that I don't have to do, that's already fixed to begin with, is great. So widescreen Sims 1, amazing. Thumbs up there. And overall, it's the same great gameplay as it was with the original. And it's nice just to go back and remember a simpler time, because 11-year-old me just would spend way too much time playing this game. But it was so fun. It was so new back then, and it was the cool thing at school. And I talked about the expansion packs. I ended up losing my house party copy because a girl that was at my school had she had Hot Date, which I talked about before. I couldn't get my hands on. She had it, and she was like, let's trade them for a little bit. We'll borrow them. You let me borrow House Party, and I'll let you borrow Hot Date. And I was like, oh, cool. So the day comes to trade, and I gave her House Party, and she's like, oh man, I forgot Hot Date. I'll bring it tomorrow. And guess what? She never brought it, and then I never saw House Party again either. So I learned my lesson that day. But that's one thing, I've never forgotten that. So getting these with the complete collection and getting to play Hot Date and stuff for the first time is pretty cool. Because I had some of the other versions of the game that you can get in the past, but they weren't ideal, especially for The Sims 1, just because the widescreen fix on itself is annoying, so it was always in 4:3. So these are better overall for modern machines, and this has been a great experience. So it's been really nice just to play them without all the little issues and stuff, and having all of the expansion in one place. The price could be a little better. I feel like The Sims 1 at like $9.99 and The Sims 2 at $20 would have been like $30 total instead of $40. I feel like that would be a little bit more appropriate based on the age of them, and I'm fine with how much work they did on them and changes and stuff. But for what they did, I feel like that would be a better price and a little bit easier pill to swallow. But yeah, overall, might want to wait for a sale, wait for some of the patches to come out to fix them. But if you've never played these before, or you've just, never had a way to easily play them and didn't want to go through the means that we've had to before since the games were delisted, this is a great time to jump in and play them, because The Sims 1 and The Sims 2. The Sims 1, it delivers a whole different challenge in gameplay style than the other three. And The Sims 2, I don't think any of the other ones really can match it in terms of the attention to detail, the interactions, just the depth of the gameplay overall with The Sims 2. Because I'm saying this not as a nostalgia thing, because I never played The Sims 2 when it came out. So the first time that I played The Sims 2 was just recently, and without any nostalgia, no rose-tinted goggles, no nothing like that. To me, it's probably the best one in the series and the most fun to play, just because of the level of, with the wants and the fears and the turn-ons and offs and just all the interactions and the depth of them, the animation quality, even down to there's YouTube, compilations on there on here that show, with the cooking, they open a drawer up to get the utensils out, whereas in the later games, the detail in 3 and 4, you can kind of watch, where in 2 it's the most detailed, then 3 it's similar but a little less detailed, and then you get to 4 where they're just pulling stuff out of thin air. So yeah, definitely give 2 a try, especially if you're somebody who really enjoys The Sims 4 and that's the main one you've played. You owe it to yourself to play some of the older ones, just to get a feel for that a little bit deeper gameplay experience. All right, let's go to work. Let's forget calling a neighbor. And yeah, we'll be fine. Let's just go to work. I always remember this car, the old rusty low-level job car. But anyway, I just wanted to do a little quick video. I'll probably do it, maybe some other ones, follow-up ones, looking at more of the expansions on this game and how they perform, and The Sims 2. The Sims 2, I've messed around a little bit more with the DLC and the community lots and stuff. I haven't had any issues. I know some people on the Steam forums are complaining about frame rate drops and stuff with some of those community lots, but I hadn't had that. I hadn't seen any of that. The game is pretty much a locked 60. It will have like a little small blip in the FPS at times when there's like a vent change. I know it's like when it snows and you go from like the little dusting of snow on the ground to the deeper snow, there'll be like a little hitch where I guess it's that transition. But other than that, I didn't notice any performance issues at all. But I'll keep kind of checking them out, and if I notice anything before the next video, I'll definitely bring it up. But yeah, this is a quick look at The Sims 1, part of the Legacy Collection, and in my opinion, it's definitely worth a look. Definitely on sale. If you haven't experienced these games before, it's definitely a collection of PC games with 1 and 2 that, and all the expansions that definitely need to be experienced, or at least tried. Because if all this fails, the Steam has the refund policy, but I think overall these are just fun games to play. Even if you didn't Like it didn't have any attachment to them as a kid. Like I didn't have it, any attachment to Sims 2, and it's rocketed to the #1 for me for the Sims games. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, see you guys.